What's up, Southside students and parents? Just so excited to talk to you all this week. This is another week where we get to look at a story where we may have known this story all of our Christian lives, but it's just a story that I gotta show you all some details in, and it's David and Goliath. This story. But first, I want to talk about my cousin, Major. So back in high school, me and my cousin Major and my cousin Hunter, we decided that we were going to join the men's church league softball team. And it was actually here at Southside, which is pretty awesome. But we joined, and, we didn't know these guys were going to be so serious and so good at softball. So the first couple weeks, it was a little scary seeing these monster dad bods come out and straight up just ball out. Your dad might be an undercover softball baller, so don't underestimate him. Speaking of underestimation, though, if that's a word, my cousin Major, I was an average sized guy, maybe a little short. Don't tell me though. And then my cousin Hunter, he's a big dude. He was muscular. He was pretty massive, but still kind of average, in the 6'1", 6'2" range, I'd say. But Major, my oldest cousin, he was a little shorter and he played soccer. So he was really, really skinny. And as soon as we got there, we noticed, and for Major, this was kind of normal, so it didn't come off as a surprise. He was the smallest guy, I believe, in the league. And like I said, these were grown men. We had barely any facial hair. We were juniors and seniors in high school, but Major was a little skinny guy, no facial hair, and he played soccer. So he really wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there, but I can remember after playing a couple weeks, we were our team was really good, but me, Major, and Hunter, we were mediocre at best. And Major, the smallest guy, one game we were down by 2. He gets up to bat, and he's got soccer cleats on. Gets up to bat, and he swings with all his might. And he grunts. Ugh! You could hear it. And the ball started soaring, and it just never stopped. And I promise to you all, this was the farthest home run that I had ever seen. It almost went to the pool, and it was the closest softball field to the pool. It just went about halfway, I think. But, man, it just felt like it never stopped. But, it was so awesome because nobody expected this out of this small guy who had really never played softball. But he did it. He did it, and it was awesome to see. Nobody expected it. And today we get to dive into a passage where we get to see something that comes out of David that no one of Israel expected. No one did. But he shows us what faith looks like and how God can protect us. So let's dive in real quick. We're going to turn to 1 Samuel 17. 1 Samuel 17. And in this chapter, let me get my Bible. In this chapter, it's pretty awesome because we get to see, there's a lot of people out there that say the Bible doesn't have action. Well, this shows you that the Bible does have action. It indeed does have action. And it starts out with the battle with the Philistines. And if you go to verse 3, 17, 1 Samuel 17, verse 3, it says this. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, with a valley between them. So Think of an epic battle. You got a mountain here, a mountain there. I like to close my eyes sometimes and just put it into a movie scene where we got these two clans of warriors about the battle in between two mountains. It's pretty awesome to think about, and something crazy is about to happen. Something crazy is about to happen. And then if we go down, because we're going to go through 50 verses, so I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to talk about it. If we go down in 4 through 6, we see the champion of the Philistines. He comes out and he challenges Israel. And this is a massive guy. It goes into describing him, and it's like all these pounds of shekels and just all this crazy weight is just in his armor. So I was like, I'm going to look up, and it gives a height on Goliath, on what his height was. And so I decided I was going to look it up, because I'm thinking, man, this dude probably looks like Shaquille O'Neal, except more muscular and with the sword. He is massive, and he is a killer. Well, I looked it up, and this guy was even bigger than Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal's like 7'3", like 350. But no, it's believed that this guy, Goliath, was anywhere from 9'6" to 10'7". So this guy was a warrior, and if he was the champion, he was seasoned in war. He had been there before, he had done it before, and they trusted him to defend the Philistine nation. So he was a guy to be reckoned with. And then, Goliath, his challenge is this. He says, I want a 1v1 with you all, with whoever wants to come down here and battle me. And if you want to battle me and you win, then all of these Philistines will be your servants. Will be your servants. So King Saul hears this, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. And see, now if we look down in verse 12 through 16, here's what it says. And it just talks about David and his brothers. 12 through 16. Now David was the son of an Ephrathite of Bethlehem in Judah named Jesse, which we've talked about Jesse a little bit. That's his dad. Named Jesse, who had 8 sons. In the days of Saul, the man was already old and advanced in years. The 3 oldest sons of Jesse had followed Saul to the battle. So the oldest sons were in battle with Saul. And the names of the 3 sons who went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and then the next to him was Abinadab, and the third Shema. If that's how you pronounce it, I'm not real sure, but we'll go with it. David was the youngest. The 3 eldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. For 40 days the Philistine came forward and took his stand, morning and evening. So for 40 days, this big, massive monster comes and he challenges Israel. Who wants to fight me one-on-one? I dare you. I dare you. And can you imagine how tiring that can be and how discouraging that could be? This guy that knows he can beat us comes down and he kind of just puts it in our face for 40 days, and it says he did it in the morning and the evening. So they have to be getting tired of this, but no one can defeat him. And meanwhile, David, he's going back and forth from the battle to take care of the sheep, because he's still the little brother. He's still got his little brother duties, and he's still doing his job of being the shepherd, being the leader of the sheep that he had started with at home. So as we move forward in verses 19 through 23. David wakes up. I'm guessing he's at Jesse's house, obviously, but he wakes up with the sheep and he goes back to the battlefield. And Goliath is again, he's calling out Israel, saying, 1v1 me. I dare you. I dare you. Then little David, this young little David, because you got to remember, he's still young at this point. He's still young, and it even talks about he was young and handsome here. He probably didn't have a lot of beard on him, maybe a little bit, but either way, maybe he did. But he comes up and he says, who is this guy? God is on our side. And David's brother hears about this, and he says, he starts assuming that David's there for all the wrong reasons. Oh, he's my little brother. He's probably just here to see the action. He wants to see the battle.